CTV News exclusive. A family speaks about the depth of grief after losing their young boy to a fatal fall. What we've learned about the 4.5-year-old and the heartbreak being felt by those who loved him most. Good afternoon. This is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan. We are learning more about the young boy who lost his life after falling from a Sandy Hill apartment building earlier this week. His parents coming forward to speak about the son who brought them joy and the immense hole in their hearts now that he's gone. CTV's Katie Griffin was able to speak with them exclusively today. Katie, an immense loss for any family. Please tell us more about how they're doing.
Well, as you can imagine, they are absolutely heartbroken. His mom even breaking down in the elevator ride up to their unit because her son always used to push the buttons for them. This is 4.5-year-old Eliyah Pirani. His mom called him the apple of their eye, a little boy who was wise for his age, loved animals, nature, and painting. He died Monday after falling from the window in their 6th-floor unit. His mom was in the room when it happened and says they don't typically open the windows, but it was a hot day, turning briefly to pick out a short-sleeved shirt for him to wear.
I found why is it so quiet suddenly, and why there's extra blood, extra lights coming in the building. Why could he fell down? What happened? Where is Eliyah? I called him, and I wish no one go experience what I have seen. I wish it for no one. It's unbearable for sure.
Friends, family is all a person needs at this moment, because heart is broken and loneliness is the most prominent thing that we feel. Everybody who can fill that gap is very, very helping.
The family says the window in the bedroom fully opened while others in the unit did not. Rental company Homestead says window restrictors are a requirement and should not be altered, and that it hadn't received notice from the residents in the impacted unit regarding any issues. Now, the family maintains the window did not have a restrictor. The company says it's inspecting all units to secure the windows, including in this one. Police have said the incident is not considered suspicious, but that the investigation is ongoing. Stefan?
All right, and our condolences to that family. CTV's Katie Griffin reporting live. Thank you, Katie. And stay with CTV News at 6 for much more of this heartbreaking interview. Katie will share her full story tonight at the top of the next hour. Well, many Sens fans are looking for reassuring words from Captain Brady Tkachuk. He's back in town to clean out his locker after, understandably, rushing off for the birth of his second child. But with rumors swirling that he's keeping options open, the fans who love him dearly may not be getting the words of affirmation they're seeking. CTV's Dylan Dyson is here to explain. Dylan.
Yes, Stefan, a lot of this anxiety among fans began earlier this year with an Olympic win and then a visit to the White House, and then ramped up after a seemingly lackluster playoff performance for the Sens. And today, Tkachuk faced questions regarding his long-term future with the team. To sum it up, Tkachuk says he is frustrated. He's had to answer to this so many times, and frustrated his desire to be in Ottawa is being questioned. Tkachuk still has 2 years left on his contract with the team and isn't eligible to sign a contract extension until next year. But when asked to reassure fans about his commitment to the team, Tkachuk said speculation about his commitment doesn't originate with him.
I feel like I've answered this hundreds of times, that none of that I feel like I've never shown. I've never said. None of those things ever came out of my mouth, and quite honestly, it's just getting frustrating. It's becoming a distraction, and because I have been fully committed to this team, to the city, and it's just becoming a distraction, frustrating to deal with.
During locker cleanout day on Monday, Sens GM Steve Staios also addressed questions about Brady Tkachuk leaving Ottawa or being traded and called it nonsense. Tkachuk says he has yet to meet with Staios following the end of Ottawa's season to discuss where the team is headed and where the group and Tkachuk himself can improve. And in final remarks before his offseason begins, Tkachuk took time to thank Senators fans for their support throughout this season. Stefan.
All right, and we thank him for what he's done on the ice for us as well. CTV's Dylan Dyson with this update for us. Thank you, Dylan. Meanwhile, questions answered around the Bank of Canada's lending rate this morning, and it will stay at 2.25% for now. Even then, there are several variables being flagged, letting Canadians know the next announcement could come with change. Here's CTV's Annie Bergeron-Oliver.
At Parkview Moving, the high cost of gas is making it harder and harder to run a profitable business, offering short and long-haul moves.
It's very difficult, and we don't want to pass that extra burden or cost on to our clients, so we're absorbing a lot of that cost ourselves.
And they're not alone. The war in Iran is driving up oil prices and squeezing both Canadian businesses and consumers. That spike, a main reason the Bank of Canada now sees inflation peaking at 3% this month and staying elevated until early next year when it's projected to return to 2%.
The best thing to do today is maintain the policy interest rate where it is. But I will stress that there is no risk-free path for the policy interest rate.
The bank decided to hold rates steady for now, but admits a lot could change in the coming months. If oil prices stay around $100 a barrel, consecutive rate hikes could be needed. At the same time, the bank says if new U.S. tariffs or trade restrictions are put in place, cuts may be needed to stimulate the economy.
The bank is committed to ensuring that Canadians continue to have confidence in price stability through this period of global upheaval.
So what does this all mean for anyone in the market for a new home? Mortgage experts say now may be the time to lock in a rate.
You can't time the market. The best bet for borrowers right now is to take out a rate hold and a pre-approval, because at least that way you have secured access to whatever today's rate pricing currently is.
With the potential for rate hikes already floated because of high oil prices, many real estate experts say now may be the time the housing market starts to heat up, with more buyers jumping off the sidelines. Annie Bergeron-Oliver, CTV News, Ottawa.
There was mention of higher oil and gas prices just now, and soon you may start to see that passed on to you at the grocery store. The fight against food inflation is far from over, and now the companies that transport the groceries to you each week are also paying more to fill up in order to get products to local shelves. Those who watch food consumer trends say some people are compensating by changing their eating habits.
For example, someone would not eat meat during the week, and on weekends it's fair game. So people are pacing themselves.
Shoppers are turning to other ways to stretch their food budget, such as bulk buying when they find a good deal on items they usually buy anyway, and using more coupons. But for organizations like food banks, those aren't always sustainable options. And as CTV's Peter Sperling is about to tell us, the Salvation Army is closing its church and food bank in Cornwall. Peter, what happened there?
Stefan, it's certainly a shock and concern to residents and those who rely on the Salvation Army for help. In a letter posted on social media Tuesday afternoon, the Salvation Army said after a careful operational review, a decision has been made to close the local church and community services as of June 7th. This at a time when other food banks across the country and in the neighborhood are already seeing an increased demand.
This is a huge shock for all of us here.
I am absolutely concerned. So that's one less food bank for people to access.
First reaction was shock. Then the questions came. So the questions for me are, where are these people going to go? Do people use this service?
Now, in that letter, the Salvation Army is saying it is planning to keep a downtown nearby thrift shop open. That's at a different downtown location. Now, Stefan, we did reach out to the Salvation Army with questions, and we have not heard answers back or any details yet as to really why this is happening. Stefan.
All right, keep us posted with what you learned. CTV's Peter Sperling reporting live for us. Thank you, Peter.
It's good to kind of focus on the learning, get people engaged in school and not distracted by phones and social media.
Coming up on CTV News at 5, we'll dial up the details of a major policy change that could be coming to Ontario schools as the province looks to hang up on cell phone use. And Jackie Paris is here with a rainy first look at the forecast. Jackie.
Thanks so much, Stefan. We're already seeing some light drizzle move through here in Ottawa, but we can already see that system moving along the seaway. Heavy rainfall expected for pretty much the rest of this evening. It has prompted a rainfall warning for much of eastern Ontario and parts of Quebec, again, focusing along the seaway. There isn't a warning in the valley area, but we are still anticipating rain moving through 30 to 50 millimeters for most of the region, and this will carry on into the overnight hour. We'll get a closer look at your long-term forecast and what the temperatures will look like in just a bit.
Thank you, Jackie. Here's what you need to know. Enjoy your unique night out tomorrow at the Ottawa Regional Air Guitar Championships. It's happening at House of Targ on Bank Street. Doors open at 7 p.m. The show starts at 8. Here's a live look at traffic. The 417 westbound is slow going from Bronson to Pinecrest. Eastbound, moderate to heavy volume from Rochester to Innis. And if you're on the 174 heading out to Orleans, it's slow from the split to Montreal Road. Our popular Team of the Week segment is back. If you want to be a part of our Myers Automotive Group Team of the Week, upload your video to ctvnewsottawa.ca. In developing news, the Ford government says it's considering a complete ban on cell phones in schools, as well as restricting access to social media. As CTV's Siobhan Morris reports, it comes as Manitoba is moving to implement similar measures.
They're omnipresent, away from school, on the way to class, and inside, even with rules against them.
They're used far too much. The kids are staring at them constantly.
Students are very, very smart and very capable, but our ability to focus has gone down collectively.
That short attention span, violence, and bullying helped along by phones are on the education minister's radar.
Cell phone use in our schools, elementary and our secondary schools, anywhere on site, has become a problem, so we are considering an outright ban of cell phones on school properties.
Right now, Ontario kids up to grade 6 have to keep phones silent and out of sight during class. Older kids can use them in the classroom when a teacher allows it. The opposition leader likes the idea of keeping phones locked up, but isn't sure keeping them out of the building will work.
Having that cell phone is a connection for parents to keep an eye on their kids and where they're at. And a lot of children, particularly here in the GTA, travel long distances to get to school or have other responsibilities like siblings.
On the street, reactions are mixed.
Don't ban totally because it's a modern society. People need to connect with people.
I didn't grow up with a cell phone, so it's good to kind of focus on the learning, get people engaged in school and not distracted by phones and social media.
I think high schoolers should be able to do whatever they want. I think if you're teaching someone to go into the world, you have to teach them to have accountability for their own actions.
Over the weekend, Manitoba's premier announced plans to ban social media and AI chatbots for kids under 16.
And I think here in Ontario, we have to actually do something about that. But you know, it comes from actually looking at the problem and trying to understand it.
Educators say that means lots of dialogue, including with students. Without it,
you're setting teachers and parents and students up for more conflict because the underlying causes are not being dealt with.
Ontario's education minister says he's watching what Manitoba's doing and that he's working with the federal government, which is considering nationwide restrictions for young people accessing social media. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
In the meantime, a new poll suggests despite having no leader, the Ontario Liberals would win if an election was held today.
For the last decade, you know, the PCs have been leading in the polls. They were leading even before they were elected, of course. And so this is a new trend that we're seeing.
The poll conducted by Liaison Strategies found 35% for the Liberals, who are currently led by interim leader John Fraser of Ottawa. Premier Doug Ford's Progressive Conservatives were second with 33% support. Meanwhile, 68% of respondents say they disapprove of the job the Premier is doing, while 27% approve. 65% of people say they think the province is heading in the wrong direction, compared to 31% who approve of Ontario's current direction. Coming up on CTV News at 5, Ottawa's boys of summer in spring training. We take you to the Diamond, where the team was spared a wet field earlier today. Here's what else you need to know. The beloved story of The Little Mermaid takes center stage this week at Meridian Theatres at Centrepoint. The shows are presented by Les Petits Ballets this Friday and Saturday. Visit the venue's website for tickets. We'll be right back. Coming up tonight on CTV after the 6 o'clock news, E-Talk starts at 7, The Big Bang Theory at 7:30, MasterChef at 8, then an episode of The Floor and Shark Tank. Now for another check on the weather forecast, let's go back to Jackie, who is live in studio tonight. Jackie.
Well, thanks so much, Stefan. I took a peek outside right now for our downtown location, and we do see some umbrellas out, and you're definitely going to need it. It's actually going to get heavier as the night continues on. Here's a live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam, where it's 11 degrees out there right now. Parliament Hill, you can't quite see. It is light rain moving through, but again, as we mentioned, we are anticipating heavier rainfall to move through. Now, it is 11 degrees here in Ottawa, very much similar for along the sea Seaway, 8 degrees in Pembroke, 9 in Bancroft, and 9 in Petawawa. Temperatures are going to start to cool down. We're getting to overnight lows about 6 degrees. And as we look towards tomorrow, it's not going to be as warm as what we saw for the start of this week. Now, 5 degrees to kick things off tomorrow morning. Yes, there could be a chance of some rain moving in the early hours, but it should likely clear up by the time we get tomorrow evening. 11 degrees, the anticipated daytime high. There's northerly winds still moving in and could still feel quite cooler than that 11-degree daytime high. Now, for the valley, yes, periods of rain. There is no rainfall warning for areas like Pembroke as well as Petawawa. We got 10 degrees, the anticipated daytime high for tomorrow, but where we will see a lot of heavy rain moving through is along the Seaway. So rain heavy at times, especially between 8 o'clock p.m. tonight and midnight. 8 degrees, the overnight low, but tomorrow we will likely see mainly cloudy skies. A little bit of sunshine might peek through, but anticipated daytime high is at 10 degrees. This is a closer look at what could break down into the overnight and Thursday. You can see a lot of the weather system really focused along the St. Lawrence Cornwall. Those heavier rainfalls, the dark green and the yellow, really pushing in heavier rainfall. Again, we are going to see significant rain pushing through the region, but it should clear by the time Thursday morning rolls around. And by Thursday evening, mainly cloudy skies is anticipated, maybe even a peak of sunshine moving in. Now, temperature-wise, take a look at this. Very cool for the rest of the week. We're averaging 10 to 11 degrees. And while we do see a chance of showers moving through, we will likely see mainly cloudy skies for the rest of the week.
Weather is brought to you by Manotick Tree, complete tree care from start to stump.
So if you haven't already, try to make your plans again earlier for this evening in the next hour or so. You might want to be indoors for the rest of the evening, Stefan, because this rain is going to come and it's going to come fast.
All right. Thank you, Jackie. And here's a look at the stories you're checking out right now on CTV News Ottawa.ca. As Jackie spoke about rain, let's think about maybe some sunnier days ahead and think about summer. We've just learned from the National Capital Commission that swimming will be back on at Dow's Lake. You know, they put in that dock last year. It has returned and it's been placed back in the waters since yesterday. So all the details are on our website, ctvnewsottawa.ca. The Ottawa Blackjacks kick off their 7th season in the capital next month, and a famous last name is their special halftime performer. Details shortly. Here's what else you need to know. Soccer season is back. Watch Ottawa Rapid FC take on Calgary Wild FC this Saturday evening at TD Place. Game time is 5 p.m. Visit the team's website for tickets. Here's another live check on traffic. We're hearing of a collision on the Queensway in the eastbound lanes between Riverside and St. Laurent. You're going to notice moderate to heavy volume from Rochester to Innis, and the westbound lane slinger slow moving from Bronson to Pinecrest.
Get the latest live local breaking news. Sign up now for our morning and evening CTV News Ottawa newsletter. The best local content from CTV News, Your Morning Ottawa, and News Talk 580 CFRA. Get it all in one place. Sign up now at ctvnewsottawa.ca. The CTV News Ottawa newsletter is brought to you in part by CAA Business.
Here's another live look through our Centennial Glass Sky Cam. The temperature right now, 11 degrees under wet skies. Time now for a look at to CTV News at 6. Here's Patricia Bull.
Thanks, Steph. Here's what we're working on for 6 o'clock.
I wish no one go, but experience what I have seen. I wish it for no one. It's unbearable for sure.
The family of a 4-year-old boy who fell to his death from their apartment window speaks out tonight. Emotions running high as they reassure the public that they are responsible parents.
And I'm like, hey, listen, you don't have to do this. Come with me. I'll try to help you out. And he was saying, no, I want to stay. I'm like, no, please. I begged him. I'm like, you need to come with me. Come.
An OC Transpo driver recently honored for rescuing a man from a mental health crisis recounts the morning he became a hero. Plus, it is that time of the week where we and the Myers Group honor a team on the rise, and these ones are literally rising with their showmanship skills. Just incredible. We'll tell you more about them coming up at 6 o'clock. All of that and more tonight on CTV News at 6. That's right after the early edition of CTV National News with Sandy Ronaldo at 5:30. Steph.
Thank you, Patricia. Now the final 5 other stories we're following today. Flood watch continues in our region. Environment Canada's rainfall warning renewing fears for homeowners along the Ottawa River. The Ottawa River Regulation Planning Board says while water levels are stable or slightly declining, the expected rainfall the region is expected to see still isn't clear from the threat of flooding. Health Canada has approved the first generic version of brand name Ozempic, making it the first G7 country to do so. The injectable medication is manufactured in India and has been approved for the weekly treatment of type 2 diabetes in adults. The drug is often prescribed off-label to help with weight loss. The generic version is expected to be cheaper than Ozempic, which can cost hundreds of dollars a month. Also, the province is committing new funds to help connect more Ontarians to fertility services faster. This is part of a 3-year pledge the Ministry of Health unveiled last year. It set out to increase the number of clinics, private and public, that offer access to publicly funded IVF services. The province says it will spend $100 million in 2026-2027 to support 27 clinics across Ontario, including new IVF clinics. The Ontario Liberals say the new money is welcome, but better access to family doctors would help many families address fertility challenges. A recognizable last name is being announced as the home opener halftime show performer for the Ottawa Blackjacks. Zav Trudeau is starting to make a name for himself as a musical artist away from his fame as the son of the former Prime Minister. The professional basketball team is set to launch their 7th season in the capital in just a few weeks. The Blackjacks played their first home game at TD Place Arena on May 12th. And the Ottawa Titans are getting ready for their upcoming season. The spring training schedule is out, and today you can find them working out at the Ottawa Stadium. Friday's preseason game is closed to the public, but that's when they'll take on the Sherbrooke Expos. Your first opportunity to catch them in a preseason game at home will be next Tuesday at 6:30 against the Welland Jackfish. That is CTV News at 5. I'm Stefan Keys. Be sure to join Patricia Bull for CTV News at 6. The early edition of National starts now.